Hey y'all, we got a legend in the building today. It's an honor to have Councilman Trayon White on a podcast today. And that's what we gonna do. He gonna win mayor this upcoming year. How you doing, sir?
I'm blessed, bro. How you?
All right. Glad to have you on the S.O.O.N Sports Podcast.
Right.
Generally, our my podcast is about sports within the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, but mainly DC. And we just like to talk about different things. But having you on here is an honor and a pleasure. And I can't thank you no more. But we're gonna get right into it, man. For the people that don't know who you are, that's kind of hard to say because you well known. But for the people worldwide that don't know who you are, can you give them a general background of yourself, a quick background of who you are?
Absolutely, man. So I want to thank you for having me on, man. I think it's important that we create our own media and tell our own stories to our own people, so we can create our own narratives. Those that's created for us are not always not always the most positive or the most truthful. And so for those who don't know me, my name is Trayon White. I'm the council member here in the Great Ward 8. I'm born and raised in Southeast Quadrant of DC. I graduated from the Frank W. Ballou Senior High School. Just a servant, man. Historically, I built my reputation on being in the community, serving. I grew up in this area where most people that look like me, that come from where I come from, don't make it to be successful, man. Especially young men and young ladies are falling by the wayside drastically each and every day. God spared me to allow me to make it out, go to college. I went to the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, where I graduated magna cum laude with a 3.6 GPA. Came from there, I ended up coaching Little League football in high school.
Wow.
I coached for 9 years straight. And the reason why I started my ministry, I call this a ministry because this is a calling for me from God. I started my ministry coaching Little League football. I started doing way more because in my first 2 years coaching, we lost 5 of those young guys on that football team, all under the age of 17, to homicide.
Wow.
The first one was J-Rock, James Richardson. He got killed in Ballou High School in the cafeteria.
Wow.
You can hear the sirens behind me. So
yes, sir.
The struggle is still continuing, I started my career just serving in the community. When nobody knew my name, I didn't have a title. I was working in 5 communities at the same time, just doing God's work, man. And it took on a life of its own until I met William Lockridge, Marion Berry, and I ran for the State Board of Education, in which I won that seat. Then I ended up serving as council member, which I currently serve now. But my first election, I lost. But God has been tremendously good and grateful, and I'm grateful for that. And so right now, I'm in the Anacostia Art Center where I got over 100 kids here, RSU, that we hired to serve in the community. So it's about us giving back, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And those great things to hear. There's a lot about you that I didn't know. I didn't know that you coached Little League and stuff like that. What I did do, and I noticed this, that you've been around, you go to all the sports events. Like I seen you at games and different things like that. A quick question for you. How do you feel about the sports programs in the school in DC public and charter schools today?
What about the schools? I missed it. The kids came out talking.
I said, how do you feel about, because I didn't know that you coach youth football, was it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't know you did that. So speaking on that, how do you feel about the sports programs and in the DC public schools and in the charter schools?
Well, sports programs are good for what they are, but it's really more focused on encouraging our students to remain student athletes. We call it student athlete because the student comes first.
Okay.
Had to tell them keep the noise
Oh
stands.
yeah, nah, it's cool.
We just had the kids watching the children's march.
Okay.
Trying to inspire them to know their history, man. I asked a group of kids, probably like 35 one day, does anybody who knew Murray Berry was? And not one child raised their hand.
Wow.
So I do more than just engage them in campaigning. They had to
Yes.
re-educate our young people and give them some information and power about who they are, how much power they have. And so it's really about that for me. Sports is, I play sports. I play varsity basketball from 10th to 12th grade. You know, I was really good. I got student athlete of the year, my senior year at Blue. But sports is a vehicle to learn discipline, to learn teammanship, to learn, learn how to work together. You know, you meet different coaches. Some of the best people I met in my life, like
Yes, sir.
Naughty, Mason, you know, came through Coach Darius Coach Money came through sports, you know.
Yes,
And
sir.
so that's good. We got to remember that if you are just good at sports, but don't have the student in front of you, you won't be a student athlete very long. And so we preach that message early and often, from DCPS to DC Child, it don't matter.
Yes,
We trying to
sir.
encourage our students to become better students.
Yes, sir. And so I didn't want to really get into this, but I have to ask because I know the people want to know, and I definitely want to know. It's been a long time coming for you to run for mayor. I know people wanted you to run for mayor years ago. And so my question to you is, why now? Why now is it the time that Trayvon White come out and run for mayor?
No V, Trayon. But I always believe in season of time, you know. Like you said, people have always talked about me becoming mayor. I just want to be a servant. I can not be in any political position, but I'll still be doing something in a leadership role in my community. And I'm probably one of the most powerful people politically in my generation right now, right? And sometimes people wait or make up excuses, but I believe that fear and God cannot operate in the same space. And I learned that from Barbara Dick Gregory. What's up, Soldier? And I think that, you know, you got to strike while the iron is hot. And for me, we're living in a city where the city has grown over $5 billion in 5 years, from 14.5 billion to now 19.5 billion in 5 years. But that growth is not reflected throughout the city. You talk to the average resident in DC, their life has not gotten any better. The crime, we had an all-time high in crime right now. We're at a 20-year high in crime. The education has not gotten better. The healthcare services has not gotten better. You know, we're in a place now where we have to do something different, man. And it comes from new leadership that's really about the people. My job in this election is to create the narrative that we can put people over politics. You know, not just build big buildings. Of course, we want to build our communities, but we want to build on the people that's going inside those buildings each and every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that being said, what can the people expect from Trayon? I'm sorry about that, Trayon. What can the people expect from you as mayor coming up when you win the election? I know you won't win.
So one of my deepest priorities is to redo education, right? Because I think that we can become a stronger DC if we build on our youth and young adults in our communities, man. When you build strong young people, what was that? Frederick Douglass said it's easy to repair the reason to repair broken boys and is repair broken men, right? And that same is true for the males and the females. And so for me, we want to put our youth as early as middle school in the college track or a career and technical education track, getting skills, or entrepreneurship track as early as middle school, and make sure they are employable or they can own their own businesses.
Absolutely.
And we got to make our community safer, man. When I got on the city council, I learned that we had $0 and a $14.5 billion budget to address public safety on the preventive side, not just the police department coming to arrest people. And since then, we pushed the council and the mayor, and she's taking some initiatives now, but we in the city suffer because for 6 years, the mayor ran the narrative that crime was down. And that hurt us because if you don't first address the problem, you can't come up with a solution. So when you say there's no problem, there's no solution. And we have a lot of, especially Black boys and girls and brown boys and girls, blood spit on the street. I was at a crime scene several crime scenes yesterday, in which we had a 16-year-old kid killed on Savannah Place just yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's happening in and all around us. So we have to address public safety. I have a 33-page comprehensive plan how to address public safety to deal with mental health, job creation, job placement, year-round jobs for our youth, programs for youth and young adults with the entry level to our government agencies. I helped push a pilot program with DPW, and I mimicked that program after something Calvin Woodland had years ago. And so we want to do stuff like that with DDOT, DGS, Department of Employment Services, all our government.
Hello? I think he broke up for a minute. You broke up for a minute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
I was pretty much saying we have to create, my vision is to make sure we create opportunities for those who live in DC to have equitable wages, right? We want to focus on college, careers, and entrepreneurship. We got people that want to open up their own businesses. We got to support that. My vision also is to make sure we can take care of our seniors. We want our seniors to live in place where they don't have to move around and be stuck or confined to just one place where they can live, shop, and grow right in their community without having to go far to get to go to the grocery store, right? They have to, right now, most of our seniors are on fixed income. In a society in Washington, D.C., probably the second most expensive place to live in this country. And so that comes with leadership, ensuring that they can live and grow their families here because they're the backbone. My grandmother raised me and several other grandmothers raised me in this community. So we have an obligation to keep them here. Like one thing I've done as a council member is we building 4 new recreation centers in Ward 8, right? I want to take that same leadership across the city. We talked about the homeless issue. We built 3 new homeless living facilities in Ward 8. Just built a new 801 East shelter, right?
Yes.
And so everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I want to take the leadership and same energy I put for people in Ward 8, I want to put that across the city, man, in the spirit of the late Mayor for Life, Marion Barrett.
Absolutely. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Great stuff, man. Couple of more real quick questions. I looked at the debate that you had. I think it was like 8 days ago or 9 days ago or something like that. And you were speaking. You asked Merrill Browser about building blocks. Can you explain what building blocks is? Do you recall that?
Absolutely. So I did a press conference on Martin Luther King Avenue after Nia Courtney was killed, who was a 6-year-old girl, got killed on MLK. In fact, that same day, her mom and her dad and several other individuals were shot that day as well. Telling the mayor that we need to declare a state of emergency. With the amount of meetings we was having every day about COVID and the amount of people dying, this same energy should be put into ensuring that our people can be safe going to and from school, going to the grocery store, going to work. And that hasn't been happening. From that, she formed what is called Building Blocks, which is an initiative to touch 151 of the most dangerous neighborhoods in DC. And she's supposed to put money behind that. Since then, I haven't heard much about it. Like I said yesterday, we had several shooters just yesterday. So that's what Building Blocks was. It's an opportunity for the mayor to focus on 151 blocks.
Absolutely. A lot of people, including myself, and I wanted to know, for the youth in DC and high school seniors, middle school, different kids. How do you become or put yourself in a place to become councilman? Is it a regimen that you gotta certain classes you gotta take? What do you gotta do to become a councilman or even put yourself in a position to be a councilman? I know a lot of people want to know this.
Well, legally, if you're 18 and eligible to vote and living in DC for at least a year, you can run for office. That's pretty much. There's no college requirement. There's no skill set you gotta have. There's no classes you had to take. If you can run and win an election, you can become a council member in DC. DC has 13 council members, one for each ward, that's 8, 4 at large, and a chairman. So with that, but you just run for office, try to get as many people as you can to vote for you. And if you're running against somebody, you just got to get one more than everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Now there's a deeper strategy to that, but that's the gist of it right there.
Okay, bet. Couple of more questions. I heard you talk about you build 4 recreation centers in Ward 8, correct?
We got 1 done now. We got 3 more to go.
Okay. Parks and Recreation back when I was coming up as a kid was one of the best things to do. Is there anything in place that you have across the Washington DC metropolitan area to get parks and recreations back to what it used to be back in the 90s and things of that nature?
So I just want you to, in context of that, let you know one of the reasons why I'm fighting for programming and activities, because they're dismal. We have more money than we ever had in DC history, yet we are suffering with the least amount of programs for youth and young adults, and even our older adults and our seniors. And so the reason why I've been focused on Parks and Recs is because in Ward 8, Hot Rec closed, Old Rec closed, Catch and Rec closed, Blue Rec closed, Anacostia Rec closed, number 11 Boys and Girls Club closed, almost 11 recs closed. We figure out why the kids in the streets.
Right. I hear this, man. It's awesome to hear these things, man. What he's saying, Trayon White, man. Councilman Ward 8, soon to be mayor, but continue.
Yeah, man. So it's important that we provide opportunities for our youth to do something constructive. If not, we'll leave students to do stuff destructive. I did a youth leadership academy in the school I was in. If you look at my Instagram today, you'll see that I was in Kramer Middle School today. We take some of the most at-risk youth out of the school, and we work with those boys and girls in the schools. Today was just a few of the boys from Kramer, and we try to focus on their inner self and their self-esteem and their history and who they are, and with the economic focus. Teach them how to make money. I bring in a lot of people that's from their struggle, from their neighborhoods, that got their own businesses, got their own money. So we have to put people in front of them that model what we want to see them become.
Absolutely. 2 more questions, and I'm gonna let you get on with your day. One of the questions that I have for you, far as I'm a barber by trade. I help with the youth with coaching and stuff like that. And I wanted to know, far as like, it's no more trade schools like Chamberlain, and I remember you can go to Chamberlain, Ballou, I think Theodore Roosevelt. Is there anything that you doing to get trades back into the school, like home economics, sewing, barbering, things of that nature?
So right now we still have Phelps. But if you look at the population of Phelps, it's less than 200 kids at Phelps. Right, so that's already problematic. We do have what is called CTE programs, career and technical education programs, integrated in a few schools. But the academies are not fully funded to a place where our young people are in the school for 4 years and coming out with a certification or the ability to do anything, right? And that's a problem. Like Ballou has auto mechanics, Anacostia has engineering and the police academy. But let's take the police, for example, because I think the police is pulled up. That we had the class for about 3 years with about 20 kids per year, and we probably have 4 kids, if that, actually take it serious and go into the academy, or go take the college prerequisites to get in, right? So my focus is to ensure that we are putting an over investment into these areas that need it the most, and provide equity and opportunities for the young people to graduate with skills. And I know we're talking about you specifically, but that's also for adults. I'm partnering with the Hope Project now, that's doing IT and CDL training. I'm also doing officer time for change. That's teaching young ladies and young adults how to get their nursing licenses, because we're building a hospital right here in Ward. I forgot to mention that state-of-the-art brand new hospital that will have a trauma center right here in Ward 8. So we're preparing the workforce for that hospital with GW.
Absolutely.
So we want to spread that same opportunities across the district and integrate them into our schools.
Absolutely. In a debate, the other white that's not going to win, by the way, he mentioned that DC schools is 60% of the kids that is below grade level. Is that accurate? And if so, what are your plans to do about that specifically?
That's accurate. He was speaking to the standardized test scores. 60% or plus of the Black students in DC are performing at a lower level than advanced on English and math. And so one of the things we have to do, we have to put, and it increased during the pandemic because we had a lot of what we call learning loss. And so we have to put the mechanisms in place to help students catch up, because our students is not competing with each other in DC. They're competing with people in the United States and across the world, especially for scholarships and opportunities. DC is number 3 and most degree places in the United States. We have more people with degrees than most other places, so it's a tougher job market. And not saying you need a degree to be successful, but we are talking about employment and careers and opportunities. And so we have to take that to effect as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. What would you tell the kids of the day, like, far as if any message would come from you, what would you tell the kids in the all over the world, but mainly in DC? What would you tell them?
So let me drop back real quick. You asked me what would I do about that. Part of what we do is we have to rethink how we don't impact scores for our teachers. Our teachers are overworked and overburdened by trying to figure out how the student is going to perform on a test. I think we make schools more interesting, fun, and engaged around education. We get better results with like some of the skill sets you said, with some of the trade programs, something they can see themselves benefiting from in the future. I think that's important. We also have to make this class sizes smaller. That means we have to put more money into schools. We did a consolidation thing in DC where it really was closing schools down with the narrative that we was going to put more resources in the schools. That never happened. And so we got to over-resource our schools, right? We got to put our money where our mouth is. Children are the future, and education is the foundation of the community. Let's make sure it trickle down to really reach the schools. I was in the school, I think it was in March, and the teacher told me she can't get through what she needed to do because she don't have the right supplies. Wow. And that was in March. School over, March, April, May, June, the school over.
Absolutely.
So that's criminal. And so if I had a message to young people, my message to young people is really, really develop and focus on developing yourself, right? It's an old quote that says people all over the world want to change their circumstances, but are unwilling to change themselves. And so we have to teach young people how to work on themselves, become disciplined, become studious, and have a bigger vision. I was at an event last Friday with kids there, and there was a fight broke out. Almost 99% of the kids ran to the fight.
Wow.
Right, we got to teach our students how to become leaders, man, how to become self-sufficient within themselves, and how to encourage each other to do what's right, even when everyone else is doing what's wrong. Because doing what's wrong is polarized and popularized, especially in the Black and brown community, through imagery. And so that's why I say I want to thank you for bringing me on here, because we get to tell our own story and create better images for our community and for DC. And we don't want to just think that Black people are the only ones that live here. It's other nationalities, ethnicities that live in DC that we all have to lead. And that's my job as mayor, to lead everyone across the city, not just east of the river, but in upper Northwest, downtown, the business community, the unions. We want to make sure our workers are being taken care of, but if they not. So that's part of my vision too.
Absolutely. this question, I know the world, especially in DC, want me to ask you before you go. I gotta ask you this. DC parking, DC tickets. What is your solution towards that? Because if I didn't ask this, I know the DC residents want to know, what are we doing about DC tickets and parking in DC?
So I'm running for mayor. So you asked me what are we doing. So I'm gonna speak to that real quick and want to speak to what I'm going to do as mayor. So today, I don't know if you probably can see it, I got the screen saying, well, it's a tow truck towing a car today.
Right.
On this time, I seen 4 cars get towed in the same block today. And so it's predatory and it's just not right. It's not good leadership that you taxing and put the extra burden on the people. You know, only getting a ticket for which can cost you between $100 and $1,000. You know, you can get $1,000 ticket in DC.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. And if it double, that's $2,000. Then if you get a boot, you got to pay for the boot. If you get towed, you got to pay for the tow. And every day it stays down Blue Plains, you got to pay $25 a day, including Saturday and Sunday, which is closed. And so I created a bill called ticket amnesty bill. So that's designed to give relief to those who have tickets. Because right now you see all these Virginia tags riding through DC. Most of these people that got Virginia tags are from DC. Just can't get a license to get theirs. I also created a bill that gave over 5,000 people their licenses back. The kids coming out, so it's gonna be a little bit loud, man. But yeah,
it's cool.
All right, yeah.
Real quick, before that, I just anything that you want to tell the people.
Look at the kids.
Hey, I see them. Oh man,
That's the future right here, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely right there.
It's the future right there, bro.
Oh man,
that's what I'm doing. When nobody looking, that's what I'm doing, man. Pouring into these youngins. Look at some more.
Absolutely.
Pouring into these youngins, man. Yes. We just going. Y'all have a good weekend. Sick weekend. Sunday, man. Make sure y'all bring your t-shirt.
What speaking on Sunday? What's going on Sunday?
Well, we got a number of things happening Sunday. Got a number of initiatives. I'm doing a rally on Sunday at 2:00 at 4319 First Street Southeast in the park. We're gonna have good food, DJ, good energy. We're giving out t-shirts, yard signs. We gotta shake the city up, man. We gotta get 60,000 votes to win this thing. And so we speaking truth to power. We're organizing and we putting this on the backbone of our seniors who created us, and also our kids. We got a thing I'm introducing as the mayor called Seniors for Seniors. We're empowering our seniors in high school to communicate and break down the generational barriers between our senior citizens. And so that's leadership, man. We got a lot of great things going to happen in our city, and I can't wait.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, anything that you really want to be, what message you want to get out there, anything you want to say to the people before we get off this?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's our time. It's our turn. It's our election. We got to take it. Nobody gonna give it to us. We got to go out there in large numbers. In the last election, 18% of the population came out to vote. 18%, man. And we complain about it. Yeah, have a blessed one. So it's incumbent upon us to intervene, talk to somebody, get your neighbor, get your cousin, nephew, niece, to reach somebody to get to this 60,000 votes. And it's not that hard. In Ward 8, we got over 52,000 registered Democrats right now. Ward 7, 54, all the way up to Ward 1. Ward 1 got what, 66,000? Going all the way through. So we got the numbers. We just gotta activate the people and give them a hope and a purpose for something they can believe in. That's real, that's genuine, that's for all DC residents. You know, not just for the youth, but for the whole DC.
Absolutely.
That's what I represent, man. My track record is proven. You can check my vote record out at dccouncil.us. You can check my platform out on TreyWhiteForMayor.com. You can research me. You know, I've been standing on the front line advocating and changing narratives for God's people for over 19 years straight. Unapologetic, boots to the ground every day in the trenches, working hard. That's the type of leader you're going to get from me as a mayor. Don't just stand there, do something.
Absolutely, man. Trayon White, I really appreciate you, man, for coming on my platform.
No doubt.
anything that I can do to help out and assist, I'm there, man. Just let me know. I got your contact information. For people that want to contact you or Foz help out, what can they do?
So real quick, our office is at 4135 Willow Road.
Okay.
And so we'll be there. We also opening an office on North Capitol, which is already open, my bad. And they can reach us on the campaign at 202-491-8894, 204-491-8894. That's our campaign number right there. Reach out to us, get involved, go to our website, click the volunteer. That's TreyWhiteForMayor.com. Man, it's on us, man. Let's turn up, man. Let's win this and get our people out and change our city. And it's really what's going to happen after the election. Election one day or a few days or whatever. But we really got to figure out what we're going to do to create a collective agenda even after the election over so we can organize people and power in our city.
Absolutely, man. Man, thank you. I can't thank you enough. You're the only person that I know that be out in the trenches and would do something like this, man. So I can't thank you no more, man. Anytime you need me, I'm there. So,
all right, bro.
Man, thank you, man. Continue blessing the kids. Continue looking out for our city, and I'm gonna be with you, man.
All right, be blessed, bro. Stay strong.
I appreciate you coming on. Trayon White, y'all. Trayon White in the building, man. It don't get no better than that. Tune in, S.O.O.N Sports Podcast. It was one to remember, man. Trayon White, man, running for mayor and doing this thing. A city councilman. You just heard him, how you can contact them, how you can reach them, how you can get out and vote. All wards 1 through 8. Let's get out and make my man the mayor that he's supposed to be. He's supposed to been did it. And that's that. Y'all want to contact me? We doing interviews, we doing coaches that want to get involved, that want to make changes. Student athletes, students that go to DC public schools, charter schools, hit me, CoachJ224@gmail.com. That's Coach, the letter J, 224@gmail.com. If you want to do an interview, all coaches, anybody in the area as far as a political figure, coaches, student athletes, hit me up, CoachJ224@gmail.com. This is S.O.O.N Sports Podcast, and we out.